what's up guys? Hope you all had a wonderful day so far. So in today's video, I'll show you how I made 60,000 Rand in one day dropshipping in 2025. I'll show you the full blueprints and every single thing else. I also made this PDF, so I'll just quickly go through it. But first, for all the skeptic people, so here is the results. So I'll also refresh on this one store, 21 April, did about, let's just wait for it to reload. After discounts, $1,400 in sales. And then on this store, also refresh, 21 April, did 30,000 Rand, 30,800 Rand. And then on this store, well, it is a tasting store, so only did about 3,000 Rand in that specific store. Also on the 21st of April, I'll also refresh. So that's basically all the stats. And it's also not just one specific day. Like I can zoom out, like for this week so far, including today, that is about 130,000 Rand. So for this, well, in 4 days, I think it's 4 days. So that's all the stats and all the stuff. So how did I actually do it? So today's goal, I'll show you the exact blueprint that I made 60,000 Rand in one day. And then we'll cover what I sold, suppliers I used, payment processing, website setup, ads and creatives, and then scaling strategies. So firstly, the product that we sold. So the most important thing when choosing a product is that it should solve a clear pain point. It should solve a problem. I would recommend just selling a few nice things to have, because if it is something that solves a great problem, then people will spend a lot of money on it. And if someone can buy multiples of that specific product to solve a big problem, then it works even better. So our criteria when selling, well, trying to build a store or selling any type of product is, firstly, it should be a problem-solving product. It should be a high perceived value product, because ads are really expensive. You don't want to make just like a 50 Rand or $10 on a product or something like that. You want to make a lot more. Like for the products that I'm selling, on the 3 stores that I just sold you, or just told you, it's basically the product is about 60. Well, the American one is $60, and we sell it for around $180. So there's a big profit margin, and then people buy multiples of them as well. And then it should also not easily be available locally. It shouldn't be just something that you find in your local store, and it will definitely help if you have room for upsells. So I would recommend that most people should just go and find out as much about this business model as possible. And then the main thing should be just the most time you should put it into what you're actually selling. Don't just try thousands of random products. Find something that actually looks legit, that is high quality. You don't want to sell just crappy trash products to your clients, because then you won't be able to scale, and it won't be something that will just be able to continue on selling. So at the end of the day, it is, you should try and build a business, not just some quick drop shipping store. And then example products, give a few generic examples. So I would always try and sell a problem-solving product. I would recommend something that is it should look really premium, and it should solve some type of problem, like an insecurity. If something can help people, if they don't have white teeth, and it can help make their teeth a lot whiter, and basically just solve that insecurity, then they will pay a lot of money for that problem. So, I just gave you a pretty decent tip. Then for the supplier setup, so for South Africa, I recommend A Day Dropshipping. They have about a 6 to 8 day delivery, but we don't just recommend that you go onto A Day Dropshipping and find a product. That's not what or any supplier. We don't recommend that you just go and find random products. What I would recommend to do is to rather just use something like dropship.io. I'll quickly go into it. So if you go to dropship.io, it's basically a product finding tool, like a ad spy tool. Like you can spy on all the stores. So you can basically just go to the product database, and then you can search exactly. Let's go to filters. Okay, we like higher ticket prices because we want to make some money. Then let's say $99 is the minimum. We at least want 300 sales. And then you can just click search. Then all the stores and products they give you are basically doing that. And then you can just go back to the product criteria, find something that solves a problem, find something that has a very high perceived value. And then all these stores, as you can see, are doing really well. Then you can just click on their store and reverse engineer that. But then I would take it a step further and basically just go and find almost the exact same product on Amazon, and then go and copy all their reviews, as many reviews as possible. go and paste it into into ChatGPT and just ask it for the correct marketing angles and why someone actually bought it. So then you basically build your entire store around that specific problem, and you already know the product's working because someone's doing it really well, and you can just target a different country. Like these are mostly all American, and you can target it in South Africa. So then, while going back to suppliers, then we recommend first find the product that you want to sell, then just ask A Day Dropshipping to source that product for you. So you can simply ask A Day Dropshipping to source that product for you, and then you can just target it while run that specific ad in South Africa. I would highly recommend that you first get started in South Africa. It is a lot easier and cheaper to get started in South Africa, just based on company registrations and stuff like that. You can get started in South Africa for about 175 Rand. And then overseas, it is a lot more expensive. It is like about $400 for America. We actually just registered a company in Dubai that is 18,500 AED. So it is a lot more expensive to target or to get into the international scene. But I would recommend that you first get started in South Africa because you don't have those crazy startup costs, and all the advertising costs are a lot lower. So I would highly recommend first starting in South Africa and then just using. Then for international, these days just use private agents because then it's just a lot cheaper. But you first have to, have a few sales to be able to negotiate cheaper prices. But I would highly recommend a Brolo for testing, and then later on just getting a private warehouse with a private agent for 1 to 4 day delivery. But in the beginning, you don't have to focus on any of that. So just get started in South Africa and then take it from there on. So the key point, always verify shipping time to supply communication before scaling. Sometimes there's public holidays like it was Easter the past 2 weeks. So I'd recommend that you just make sure and be in contact with your suppliers. Are the orders still going out? How is it working? Because if you just scale very fast, then they don't ship out the orders or anything goes wrong, it can be major disasters. So I will just recommend that you always be in contact with your supplier. So slide number 4, payment processing setup for South Africa. So for South Africa, for all stores, there's a video on YouTube that I made before you get in contact with a payment processor. Just go and check that out. But basically what I said was, when you apply for Yoco, Paystack, or Ozo for South Africa, or even in the international ones, never tell them you're doing drop shipping because there's a pretty bad stigma around that specific word. Rather, just tell them you do e-commerce, you sell these types of products in, let's say, South Africa with a delivery time of 4 to 5 days. Just stop there. Don't go and over explain yourself. It won't really work. But for South Africa, I would highly recommend using Yoco, Paystack, and Ozo. So mainly Yoco these days because they are very lenient, so it's pretty easy to get started with them. And then that's for credit cards and and bank cards, debit cards. Paystack the same. That's like a backup that we use. And then Ozo for instant EFTs. And then for international, I mainly use Shopify Payments and PayPal. But if you don't have a international business registered, don't just do PayPal because then no one will be able to buy using a card. So that's more for the advanced, let's just say advanced, or when you have a business in America, UK, or UAE, or something like that. But that's Shopify Payments, and then we also use Stripe. Stripe is basically Shopify Payments. But for everyone, like I said, I would recommend first getting started in South Africa because it is basically the exact same business model. The one is just in South Africa and the other one is overseas. Overseas, it is a lot, while all the competition is overseas, so you're basically competing against every single one. But the thing is, you can scale a lot further and a lot harder because there's billions of people. But I would first recommend starting in South Africa, getting it to work, getting some capital up, and then, if you are struggling with capital, and want to get into the whole e-commerce side of things, I would first recommend that you, also on our YouTube channel, just go and check Web Agency Program. It's great for capital building. There's a full course, and then you don't have to, don't really have to run any ads or anything like that, and it's excellent for capital building. Then later on, just get into the e-commerce side of things. So, pro tip, always do a test order before going live to avoid payment issues. So we've had many problems with payment processes over the years. I haven't really had any problems in the past, let's say about 2 years. So always just make a test order, like let's say your very first order of your store. Just make sure, I would recommend that you have a friend, family member, or yourself. Just don't use your own name, but just go into your store and pay for order. You can have a discount if you want, but just pay for your order and make sure the payment processor actually pays the funds into your bank account And from there on, you can start running ads. Because if you don't do that, you'll most likely run ads, get some sales, and then all those funds will be stuck because they first need to verify all this, well, the transactions and stuff. So I would recommend it's only one order and then wait for it to hit your bank and then get started. So for website and funnel structure, we mainly just use, well, for any e-commerce business, well, products, we mainly just use Shopify. For other websites like agency stuff, or if someone asks me to build a website, we will do it on Airify. And then, but on Shopify is all the physical products. So theme, we have our own custom theme. You can, well, if you want it and you want access to all the like Dropship.io for free, and all the paid softwares and stuff that we personally use, you can join our school. It's a lot cheaper. It's cheaper than just Dropship.io on its own, and then you get like all these different things plus paid themes. But we use that. If you don't have access to a paid theme, just use a free one in the beginning, and then later on you can build a custom page with gem pages. So landing page, focus mainly on your product page. Don't sell the specifications. For example, if your product page looks like a product page on Takealot or Amazon, then it's not going to work. If it just indicates a few specifications, it won't really work. Mainly just focus on the problem. Highlight the problem, and then focus on the problem and offer the solution clearly. Then display trust, guarantees, and FAQs. And no one wants to be your first customer, so while we recommend that you focus a lot on social proof, don't just have one or two reviews, have like 1,000. And don't just make sure everything looks legit. No one, like I said, no one wants to be your very first customer. And then number 6, ad strategy. We mainly just use a combination between image ads and then UGC ads. So UGC ads is not like a professional ad where people go to a photography place and get like all these stuff made, because that just looks like a normal ad. Especially with the launch of TikTok over the past few years, UGC, user-generated ads, look a lot, well, they just work a lot better. It's just a normal person that's basically taking a video of themselves and then just recording why they bought this product, something like that. So we mainly just use UGC ads and then just image ads. Image ads has been working insanely well for 2025 because, it's just a lot cheaper. And we've just been having a very good click-through rate. Click-through rates, or CTR, is basically the percentage of people that actually clicks on the ad. So that's what we've been doing. That's what we've been doing for, the whole year so far. And then creative sources. I would always recommend to order the product sample for yourself so you actually know how the product works. And then you can create unlimited type of content, of videos and ads and just, nice content on your website. And then I would also, and you can mainly see if the product, high quality product or not. So that's what I would recommend. And then since ChatGPT has this new image creation thing, I would highly recommend that you use ChatGPT Visual to help script and storyboard video ads. And you can also use it to create all the content, basically just upload a nice quality photo of your product, and then just ChatGPT to create certain types of, images for your website. So let's say it's a photo, then some text about some of the problem that your product is fixing or solving. Then just make sure that photo is basically relevant to that text. But you can just ask ChatGPT to do it for you, and it's 100% for free. So software that we use for videos is CapCut, InVideo, Canva, and InShot. So you can also get access to Canva Pro if you join our school. Then it's if you want to, you don't have to do it. It's for free on YouTube as well. But if you want access to all the paid softwares and stuff, then you can. Get the number 7, scaling strategies. Once product hits the KPIs, the key performance indicators, basically just a very a positive ROAS, like that specific ad is working really well for us. We are profitable right now. Our ads for the month has had on average about a 5 ROAS, which means a 5 return on ad spend. So for every $1 I put in, I get $5 back. Obviously revenue, not profit in the business. If you spend $1, then you get $5 back. Then obviously you start to pay product cost. But then at the end of the day, if you're selling a product, because that's why we focus so much on selling a very high perceived value product, and if they can buy multiples of it, because then you have a big profit margin, because no one just wants to make a 5 rand on a product. That's never going to be able to run ads profitably. So Then we scale a CBO campaign. If you don't know what a CBO is, campaign budget optimization, but just go and check out some of our Facebook ads tutorials. Then you'll know exactly what that is. So let's say a few ads are doing really well, then I'll duplicate that ad into a CBO and multiply it by like 10 times. So then let Facebook have full control over the exact amount of the spending, and it will spend into what's working the best. Then we also introduce upsells. So upsell is basically once someone places an order, then it will ask a question. Hi, would you like this for 50% off, just like afterwards? And also in cards, there's some upsells, but we don't really focus on that because we just want to get that first sale. And then once they purchase, the post-purchase upsells, then we sell them the same product at about a 40% discount. So it's a no-brainer. And then we also sell products that's related to the specific product, like complementary products. And then you can also hit them with email campaigns to basically sell all the complementary products. So your back end revenue, so that's basically besides your sales from your ads, that's basically email marketing. We're just showing you what we are doing. There's no one way of doing e-commerce. There's lots of multiple different ways and stuff. I'm just showing you guys what we are doing. So email, besides the ads, then we have email campaigns. So let's say someone goes and they add their email to the store. Then there's like a 10 sequence email follow-up that will just basically send them an email from 12 hours later till about 60 days after their contact within our company. So we'll just keep on messaging them. And then also we do SMS retargeting with SMS bump. You don't have to do this, but I would highly recommend that you set these things up as soon as you're getting consistent traffic in and you're profitable with your ads, because this is just free money and you set it up once, then you're done forever. So key mistakes to avoid: not testing your checkout flow, mainly just payment processor. That's why I recommend that you should always test the payment processor by making order yourself or asking a family member at the very beginning of your store, so you don't run into any payment processor problems. And then selling without proof of concept, so you have actually no idea what you're selling. A lot of people in the beginning do this. That's why we recommend just ordering the product for yourself once you get a few sales, because then you can make a lot of ads for free. You don't have to pay people to do it for you, and you know exactly how the whole thing works. Then poor product page or missing true elements. That's why we recommend finding a product first on dropship.io, then going to Amazon, because you already know it's working really well, but then just going to Amazon, find the same or a product that's very close to it, and then going to the comments, because those are real comments. Copy as many of them into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to create the perfect product page for you based on all the pain points. And then not tracking your key CPIs like your cost per click, your CTR. CTR is your click-through rate, basically the amount of people that actually clicks on your ad. It's percentage, normally about between 1 and, if you're lucky, 5%. Then your ROAS, your return on ad spend. And then also poor fulfillment process, it will translate to angry customers. That's why we recommend that you only use A Day Dropshipping for South Africa, because they get the orders to your customers very fast and they can source basically any product for you. So the key takeaways: start with validated products. Don't just test any random product. Make sure someone else is already doing really, really well with that. And then just basically replicate what they are doing and improve what they are doing. And then you can beat them in their own game. And then build trust from day one, a good store and quick delivery. Then focus 80% of your energy on marketing and ads. And once that is up and running, then it's basically seamless. I only manage the ads about every 4 days. So that's kind of the beauty of it. Once your ads are on, you can just leave it on and you can just do order fulfillments. I would also recommend, once you start scaling and doing decent numbers, definitely hire a customer service rep. So your customer service is always on point, and there's no emails just not being replied or anything like that. But because it can be hard, especially when scaling, because people, just your average person, I really realize the amounts of traffic that you can get if you're scaling hard. Like your ad is probably showing to a few 100,000 people a day. And a few 100,000 people a day. And then let's say there's about 2,000 people on your website, and there can be a lot of emails. So just make sure that's always taken care of. But that's just on higher numbers when you start scaling very hard. And then, reinvent your creatives every 7 to 14 days to avoid ad fatigue. I would recommend that you turn off turn off your profitable ads. But if something is slowly dying, then just change it up a bit. If it's a video, most likely just the first 3 seconds, then you have a whole new ad. Because, well, with image ads, we haven't really had any ad fatigue so far this whole year. The one ad I launched in January, and it's still going to this very day. So well, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and let me know if you guys have any questions.